Tonight, in our coverage, international criminal court filing alleges U.S. officials, including Biden, complicit in Gaza war crimes. Assalamu alaikum and good evening. This is Muslim News Canada on Muslim Network TV. I'm Aisha Ashraf. Prime Minister Justin Trudeau is not ruling out sending Canadian troops to Ukraine as its war with Russia continues. This comes as Trudeau is visiting Kyiv on the third anniversary of the war. Speaking in Kyiv, Trudeau emphasized Canada's commitment to supporting Ukraine, stating that all options remain on the table. He announced a $5 billion aid to Ukraine sourced from seized Russian assets. Trudeau was asked if Canada would commit to deploying troops, including those engaged in active conflict. While he did not confirm a decision, he indicated that Canada would collaborate with allies to determine its role. Recently, Foreign Affairs Minister Mélanie Joly has suggested that discussions are ongoing about increasing Canadian involvement in Ukraine's defense. Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky has expressed gratitude for Canada's continued support, particularly in training soldiers and supplying drone optical parts. A new federal guide for managers recommends establishing prayer spaces for Muslim employees and advises executives to refrain from shaking hands with them. The Manager's Guide to Supporting Muslim Employees outlines workplace religious considerations. It emphasizes accommodations for one of the largest employee networks in the federal public service. The initiative is endorsed by Amira Al-Ghawabi, Canada's Special Representative of Combating Islamophobia. It highlights the significant presence of the Muslim Federal Employees Network in government offices. The guide explains that physical contact between opposite sexes, except in cases of marriage or close relations, is not permitted in Islam. It also notes that Muslims are required to pray 5 times a day, with up to 3 of those occurring during standard working hours. To facilitate religious observance, the guide suggests setting up dedicated multi-faith spaces that are quiet, clean, and free from images of people or animals. Employees are responsible for bringing their own prayer mats, and each prayer break typically lasts between 10 to 15 minutes. Ablution with clean water is required before prayer. Managers are encouraged to account for the shifting dates of Islamic holidays as they follow the lunar calendar and to consult employees about leave requirements. Workplace meals should offer halal, vegetarian, or seafood options. The document also advises learning about Islam directly from Muslim employees rather than through media or political sources. A petition calling for the revocation of Elon Musk's Canadian citizenship has gained traction, gathering over 90,000 signatures. The petition has been initiated by author Qualia Reid from Nanaimo, British Columbia. It is moving through the House of Commons process with sponsorship from New Democratic MP Charlie Angus. The petition argues that Musk's advisory role to U.S. President Donald Trump poses a threat to Canada's national interest. Trump has previously suggested tariffs on Canadian goods and hinted at Canada becoming the 51st state. Musk, originally from South Africa, holds Canadian citizenship through his mother. The House of Commons is set to reconvene on March 24th, but a potential general election could impact the petition's progress. A parliamentary petition requires at least 500 signatures for official recognition. Hamas is accusing Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu of deliberately undermining a Gaza ceasefire deal. The group refuses further negotiations until Israel releases Palestinian detainees. This comes as the group has handed over 6 hostages, but Israel has suspended the release of 620 Palestinian captives under a ceasefire agreement. Gaza resident Musab Haniyeh has died in Israeli custody under unclear circumstances. The United Nations Secretary General Antonio Guterres is voicing concern over Israeli settler violence in the West Bank. Israeli tanks are deployed in the area for the first time in over 20 years. The military has intensified raids and mass arrests in the West Bank, forcibly displacing 40,000 Palestinians. European Union Foreign Policy Chief Kaja Kallas says a 2-state solution is the only viable solution. Kallas has pledged EU support for Palestinian governance and Gaza reconstruction. Danish police have arrested 20 protesters, including Greta Thunberg. The protesters were demanding that Maersk halt military shipments to Israel. Maersk denies transporting weapons, but acknowledges military-related cargo. A U.S.-based organization has requested the International Criminal Court to investigate U.S. top officials for alleged complicity in war crimes in Gaza. A 172-page filing by the group Democracy for the Arab World Now accuses the former President Joe Biden, former Secretary of State Antony Blinken, and former Defense Secretary Lloyd Austin of war crimes. The group claims U.S. officials knowingly enabled war crimes, pointing to documented civilian casualties. It says officials aided the war on Gaza by providing military and diplomatic support to Israel. It cites $17.9 billion in weapons transfers, intelligence sharing, and opposition to United Nations ceasefire resolutions. The filings say, despite acknowledging potential violations, the Biden administration made no policy changes. It also accuses President Donald Trump for obstruction of justice related to the sanctions against the top court and displacement policies in Gaza. The U.S. is not a member of the International Criminal Court. However, the group argues jurisdiction is valid due to the court's ongoing Palestine investigation. Legal experts support the case, but political resistance is expected. A grand funeral has been held for slain Hezbollah leaders Hassan Nasrallah and Safieddine in Beirut, Lebanon. Delegations from 79 countries, including Iran, Iraq, and Yemen, attended the funeral. Tens of thousands of mourners also gathered. The funeral began in the afternoon with prayers, anthems, and speeches. Nasrallah's successor, Sheikh Naim Qasim, addressed the mourners before the procession moved to his final resting place. Nasrallah was killed on September 27th and Safieddine on October 3rd by Israeli attacks. Yemen also held prayers in the honor of the slain leaders. They vow continued support for the resistance. Pope Francis remains in critical condition but has shown slight improvement. The Vatican says the Pope's mild kidney issues are not considered a major concern, and oxygen therapy continues with reduced support. Doctors remain cautious and have not yet released a prognosis. Francis was admitted to a clinic in Rome 10 days ago with a respiratory infection. He was later diagnosed with pneumonia. Despite his condition, he has continued some duties. He has been receiving the Eucharist and making calls, including to a parish priest in Gaza. The Pope has a history of respiratory issues, having lost part of a lung in his youth due to pneumonia. He has also undergone colon surgery and was previously hospitalized for bronchitis. Doctors have advised complete rest, but he continues to sign off on key decisions, with only his closest collaborators visiting him. Global faith leaders and worshippers have expressed concern, offering prayers for his recovery. The Grand Imam of Al-Azhar, a close ally of Francis, has joined in prayers. Ahmed Al-Tayyib is highlighting the Pope's role in promoting interfaith dialogue. At St. Peter's Basilica and the hospital, supporters have gathered, leaving tokens of goodwill for his recovery. An Arab Muslim community in Montreal, Quebec is in mourning after a 20-year-old youth was shot and killed outside his home. Muad Fakhouri was found in Ahansi, Cartierville, with a gunshot wound to his upper body Wednesday night. The victim was newly married and had plans to travel with his family to Morocco. Paramedics rushed Fakhouri to hospital, but he did not survive. Sheikh Imran Sharif, Imam of Mosque Madani, knew the victim and his family. He says the community is deeply shaken and is urging the government to take action against gun violence. This is Montreal's fourth homicide of the year. The police investigation continues. No arrests have been made so far. This year's Ramadan Revival Conference has brought an unforgettable experience to the Palacio Event Center in Mississauga. The event featured renowned speakers, engaging activities, and a chance to win a free trip to Umrah. It attracted a large audience eager to deepen their connection with faith. The conference kicked off yesterday with a Quran recitation by Qari Amman Faruqi, followed by insightful talks addressing various aspects of Ramadan and spiritual growth. The program included interactive segments, prizes, and giveaways with performances such as a Dabke dance. A panel discussion featuring Amal Albaz, Imam Sikandar Hashmi, Taha Ghayur, and Amira Al-Khawabi explored key community and ummah matters. The event concluded with reflections on parenting, digital distractions, and lessons from Islamic history, presented by Sheikh Abd al-Fatah Tawakkal, Imam Sadiq Pathan, and Mufti Abdurrahman Wahid. Muslim Network TV also conducted auditions for hosts and reporters at the same venue, providing aspiring media professionals an opportunity to join the team. The event wrapped up with a live nasheed performance by Umar Zaman, leaving attendees spiritually uplifted and inspired for Ramadan. That's all from our Toronto studios. Thank you for watching Muslim News Canada. We are a community channel dedicated to bringing you stories you can trust. Please like, share, and subscribe to our content. You can also comment to let us know what you think of our coverage. You can donate now by visiting muslimnetwork.tv/donate. For more content, keep watching Muslim Network TV. Salam.